Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 3rd chapter. Because we are preparing for Krishna's arrival. So, our preparation is through our consciousness. There are so many preparations people do, like if you go to India, we'll see Janmashtami is celebrated in almost all the temples. And they make big preparations. Like somebody will be feeding lakhs of people, somebody will be arranging nice decorations, some people take Lord around on big chariots, and then that breaking of the pots, that is a famous one, especially in Mumbai and Maharashtra, they climb on and they break the pots. So many preparations people do. But our preparation to welcome Lord, of course, we also do arrangements for preaching, but for devotee individually, we welcome the Lord through our consciousness. And therefore, whenever some festival come, like Gaur Purnima or Janmashtami, we try to meditate on that particular form of the Lord and how we can welcome Lord in our consciousness. So this particular chapter, of course, 10th canto, the whole 10th canto is compared to the lotus face of the Lord, the smiling face of Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada taught that one who reads the first 9 cantos, he becomes liberated. I don't know if it is about reading or studying or realizing, but one who crosses that stage of 9 cantos, one gets liberated. And then in that liberated stage, one can enter the 10th canto, which is the direct glorification of Krishna's pastimes. And it's very interesting that the purports which Prabhupada gave to the first 3 chapters of 10th canto are very instructive. Prabhupada is drawing lessons from each and every aspect. How Kansa is becoming so cruel, how Devaki and Vasudeva were present, and how they took that condition to be an opportunity to surrender themselves. And now in this chapter, we will see how Krishna's coming is appreciated by the nature. When Krishna comes, everyone becomes happy. When Srila Prabhupada was printing this book, Krishna book, he requested Shyam Sundar Prabhu to approach George Harrison for supporting financially. And Shyam Sundar Prabhu was hesitating to ask money from George Harrison. Prabhupada insisted and he went. And when he went to ask money, it was dinner time, they were sitting on a dining table, and he managed to somehow ask that, would you like to help us with printing this book? And it was a big amount, I think 5,000 pounds or something. How much that? 19,000 pounds. It was a big amount in those days. And then, when George wanted to reply something, the current gone off. There's power cut. And then suddenly it came back. So he understood that whatever he was going to reply was not appropriate. So he changed his view and then he said, okay, I'll help. And Srila Prabhupada requested Shyam Sundar Prabhu that you ask George to write the foreword for the book. Now Shyam Sundar Prabhu was wondering that what this person is going to write, because he was not like full-fledged mainstream devotee initiated in ISKCON and like hearing Bhagavatam class and studying Prabhupada books. He was more of a well-wisher to Srila Prabhupada and ISKCON. So they were wondering what he is going to write. And the first line he wrote was so interesting. He wrote, everybody is searching for Krishna. Some know, some doesn't know. So actually the search is for Krishna. The need of living entity is Krishna. And when that need is fulfilled, person becomes happy. So Mother Nature was happy that Krishna is arriving, and therefore there were so many beautiful signs. We will read in the upcoming verses. Just opposite to that, we see in 3rd canto, when Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu were in the womb of Diti, there were some drastic signs in the nature. So all opposite. And in this chapter we will see how is Mother Nature is so happy in Krishna's arrival. So today we will study the 8 verses, the first 8 verses. So you can pull out in your phones maybe to repeat. 10th canto, 3rd chapter, verse 1 to 5. So we'll just repeat one time. Shri Shuka Vacha Atha Sarva Gunopeta Kala Parama Shobhana Yaryeva Jana Janmarksham Santaraksha Grahatarakam Disha Prasedur Ganganam Gaganam Nirmalodu Ganodayam Mahimangala Bhuyishta Puragrama Vrajakara Nadya Prasanna Shalila Hrida Jala Ruha Shriya Dvijalu Kula Sannada Stavaka Vanarajaya Vavau Vayu Shukasparsha Punya Gandhavaha Suchi Aganayascha Dvijatinam Shantas Tatra Samindhata Manamasi Asan Prasannani Sadhunam Asura Druhaham Jayamane Jane Tasmin Nedur Dundu Bhayam Samam. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Thereafter, at the auspicious time for the appearance of the Lord, the entire universe was surcharged with the qualities of goodness, beauty and peace. The constellation Rohini appeared, as did stars like Ashwini. So the Lord appeared in Rohini Nakshatra, and Acharyas give very wonderful explanation to it, that there were 2 mothers, Yashoda and Rohini. So because Lord was appearing as Yashodanandan, the son of Yashoda, Rohini should not feel bad. So therefore Lord selected Rohini Nakshatra, that okay, I am appearing in Rohini Nakshatra, so I also have Sambandha, connection with you. All directions appeared extremely pleasing, and beautiful stars twinkled in the cloudless sky. Decorated with towns, villages, mines and pasturing grounds, the earth seemed all auspicious. The rivers flowed with clear water, and lakes and vast reservoirs full of lilies and lotuses were extraordinarily beautiful. In the trees and green plants, full of flowers and leaves, pleasing to the eyes, birds like cuckoos and swans of bees began chanting with sweet voices for the sake of the demigods. A pure breeze began to blow, pleasing the sense of touch and bearing the aroma of flowers. When the Brahmanas engaging in ritualistic ceremonies ignited their fires, according to Vedic principles, the fires burned steadily, undisturbed by the breeze. Thus, when the birthless Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was about to appear, the saints and Brahmanas, who had always been disturbed by demons like Kansa and his men, felt peace within the core of their hearts, and kettle drums simultaneously vibrated from the upper planetary systems. So, generally, nature has its own system. There are seasons when trees will bear flowers, there are seasons when there should be extreme heat or extreme cold, or when the rain should come. But in this particular time, the Mother Nature was not following any system. They were all giving their best because Krishna was arriving. And this is fitting to Krishna also, because Mother Nature works under the direction of Krishna. Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam. This word Adhyaksha is like leader of sub-community, or in ISKCON sense, president means Adhyaksha. And how this word Adhyaksha comes, Aksha means eyes. Adhyaksha means just by the movement of eyes he can control everything. That is president. So just by the movement of eyes he can control everything. But Krishna says, Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti. So under the direction of Krishna, or if we say just by the motion of his eyes, Prakriti works, the nature works. So when Krishna is coming, Prakriti wants to show the best. Like if suppose the spiritual master comes to the temple, everybody wants to show their best. They'll come in best clothes, best enthusiasm, they will dance. That's the enthusiasm they want to show. In the same way, Prakriti wants to offer best to Krishna. Purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that his appearance, birth and activities are all transcendental. That one who factually understands them is immediately eligible to be transferred to the spiritual world. The Lord's appearance and birth is not like that of an ordinary man who is forced to accept a material body according to his past deeds. Lord's appearance is explained in the previous chapter. He appears out of his sweet pleasure. Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. Lord appears out of his sweet will. Many people, they claim themselves gods, but their appearance, their life and their death all are material. Like one time Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was going with his disciples, and then one man was coming with his followers. And the disciples of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati told that this man claims himself to be God. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati became so furious, he went straight to that man and started pulling his teeth. So then man was crying in pain, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was not leaving the teeth. And then man said, why you are doing this to me? Then he said, first you accept you are not God, because your body is not spiritual. Lord doesn't feel any pain. Actually, understanding Lord's divine nature is enough for devotee to get purified of his own contamination in the material world. Therefore, when Srila Prabhupada would give lectures, he would always clarify this topic very much. His favorite topic is impersonalism. Sunyavadi, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, Pashyatya Deshatarani. Jai Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai, Shri Gaur Hari ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So his favorite topic was impersonalism. We see when the pastimes come in Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada's purport becomes short. And when some topic comes where he has to attack impersonalism, then his purport becomes long. So when he went to US, and in the initial days, Prabhupada would give Chaitanya Charitamrita class at 26 2nd Avenue. Many times Prabhupada would use this word, Mayavadi. And he would say, Mayavadis are offenders to Krishna, Mayavadi is, we should not associate with Mayavadi, Mayavadi is this, Mayavadi is that. So devotees would think that there is a man called Mayavadi back in India. And maybe he has given a lot of trouble to Srila Prabhupada, therefore Prabhupada has this so much, anger towards the Mayavadi. But later on they realized, actually we are Mayavadi, because the traces of impersonalism is in everyone's consciousness. When we come to temple, we see Lord. Do we really accept that yes, Lord is standing on the altar? Or we see that, oh yes, it's a nice decoration, a nice statue, a nice dressing, and nice flowers. When we chant holy name, do we really accept that Lord is present in the holy name? Actually, that's not the right phrase. One time, Srila Prabhupada asked one of his disciples to give a lecture. And the disciple was giving lecture in front of Srila Prabhupada, and he said this word, that Lord is present in the holy name. And Prabhupada said, no, this is wrong. Lord is not present in his holy name. Lord is holy name. So Lord himself incarnated in the form of holy name. Kali Kale Naam Rupe Krishna Avatar. So when we chant, do we really feel that? So these traces of impersonalism is there inside us. And therefore, when we study these topics again and again, when we read that, no, Lord is spiritual, is not like us. Actually, why people tell that Lord is impersonal, God is impersonal? Because they are frustrated with their own existence. When we are frustrated with our own body, when we are frustrated with our own relations, we cannot imagine how somebody can have a spiritual body. Like a man went with his family to see a museum. And the man was parking his car, and by mistake he touched somebody else's car in the parking. And there was a little scratch. Now this person, the other person, was a heavy bodybuilder. He came out and he started to shout. Now this man was with his family. He was also shouting. They both were fighting. And in the course of their fight, this bodybuilder slapped this man. So he became very upset. He said, "How dare you slapped me? It's okay that you slapped me, but you cannot slap my wife." Then this man slapped his wife also. Then he said, "You slapped my wife? You cannot slap my children. If you touch my children, then you see what I'll do." And this man slapped both children also. Then when man said, "Okay, we are not fighting, let's go back home." So they were driving back. Now the family was confused. What just happened? They asked the person, "See, you fought. You were fighting with this person. He slapped you. Why did you put us in the middle? Why you made us to be slapped?" Then this man said, "You see, I knew I cannot fight with this person. Now he slapped me. If I would be beaten alone, then you three would make fun of me. Now we all four of us are beaten by this man. Nobody can make fun of each other." So this is Mayavad. I don't have spiritual body, so Lord should also not have a spiritual body, because if I am suffering, how somebody else can enjoy? And therefore we pose our rules on the Supreme Lord. Like when we drive, we follow the traffic rules. But when somebody is flying in air, he doesn't need to follow the traffic rules. So in the same way, Lord doesn't fit in the definition of our birth and activities. When the time was mature for appearance of the Lord, the constellations became very auspicious. The astrological influence of constellation known as Rohini was also predominant, because this constellation is considered very auspicious. Rohini is under the direction of supervision of Brahma, who is born of Vishnu, and it appears at the birth of Lord Vishnu, who is in fact birthless. According to the astrological calculation, besides the proper situation of stars, there are auspicious and inauspicious moments due to the different situations of different planetary systems. At the time of Krishna's birth, the planetary systems were automatically adjusted so that everything becomes auspicious. So as we discussed that how in the previous chapter also we see the demigods come and they offer their prayers to Krishna in the womb. Generally when person is in the womb, it's not a very favorable situation. It's a very pathetic situation. In fact, we read in 3rd canto how Jiva, the living entity, prays to Lord to relieve him from the womb because it's so painful. But here Lord, even in the womb, is glorious. So all demigods come and they glorify Lord in the womb. And then they all arrange this wonderful placement of planetary systems also. Like when we go to watch some cricket match or Olympics, how people select their seats. Or in fact, when people go to cinema also, how they select their seats so that they get the best view. Right? In the same way, all planets got their best seats to get the best view of Krishna, and they got in the right places. So that's how all planets were in their best position. At that time, all direction, east, west, south, north, everywhere, there was an atmosphere of peace and prosperity. So much so that the fire for yajna, which the sages were lighting, that would not even shake with wind. It was steadily burning. Actually, out of fear of Kansa and other demons, The sages were not even performing their sacrifices. But when they saw Mother Nature is so favorable, they felt that inspiration to restart their spiritual activities. And they became so happy. This is another sign for Krishna's appearance. If we see individually also, many times devotees ask this question, that how do we feel that we are advancing in spiritual life or not? It's a common question. If we feel more inspired to practice our spiritual activities, that means we are advancing. And if we are grudgingly dragging our spiritual life, that means we are not advancing. There should be distaste for material activities and there should be taste for spiritual activities. Otherwise, each bead of our japamala will weight like 10 kgs. And pulling one bead will be so difficult. But when there is inspiration, spiritual life will go like steady fire. Just like in this verse we are seeing. Next verse 6th. Please repeat. Jaguhu kinnar gandharvas Tushtavo siddhacharana Vidyadharayascha nanritur Apsara apsarobhi samam muda. Muda means happiness. Muda means jubilation. And when person becomes happy, when he is fully satisfied and nourished. Like children cry. When the children are small, they cry for different things. They want toys, they want this, they want to go out. But mother knows why child is crying. Mother knows he needs food. And when mother feeds the food to the child becomes peaceful. Now he forgets about the toy and going out. In the same way, we all search for so many things, but we become satisfied when Krishna comes in our life. So here, everybody became happy. The Kinnaras and Gandharvas began to sing auspicious songs, and Siddhas and Charanas offered auspicious prayers, and Vidyadharas along with Apsaras began to dance in jubilation. Verse 7th and 8th, we'll just read through. Mumuchur munayo deva. You can repeat. Samanamsi mudanvita Mandam mandam jaladhara Jagarjur anusagaran Nishithe tama udbhute Jayamane janardane Devakyam devarupanyam Vishnu sarva guhasayam Avirasid jatha prachayam Dishindur eva pushkala. Translation. The demigods and great saintly persons showered flowers in the joyous mood, and clouds gathered in the sky very mildly thundered, making sounds like those of ocean waves. Then the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, who is situated in the core of everyone's heart, appeared from the heart of Devaki in the dense darkness of night, like the full moon rising on the eastern horizon, because Devaki was of same category as Sri Krishna. So because devotees, they are so conscious of Krishna, they become godly. We don't become God, but we become godly. And it happens also when somebody meditates on some particular person for a long time, then unconsciously his habits become like that personality. His speaking, his eating, his walking, his thinking, everything becomes like that personality. So devotees, when they meditate on the Supreme Lord, they also become spiritual. Prabhupada gives a simple example that if you put an iron rod in fire, it also becomes fiery. And it remains fiery as long as it's in the fire. If you take it out and put in water, then it will again become iron. In the same way, devotees of Lord are always conscious of glorifying the Supreme Lord. And therefore, their presence also is as good as Krishna's presence. Like we see Srila Prabhupada's life, he was always conscious of how to glorify Krishna. Like he landed at the Chicago airport and he read the name of the airport, O Hare International Airport. And Prabhupada asked his devotees that, can you go and ask the manager that he changed the name of this airport and you write, O Hare Krishna International Airport. So only a devotee can see this vision. When Prabhupada was in Allahabad, devotees went to Kumbh Mela for the first time and they were seeing this big sadhus coming with their followers, and they had all this fanfare. Somebody was sitting on elephant, somebody sitting on chariot, and they became very impressed. And devotees told Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, next time when we come, we will also arrange an elephant for you. And we will put you on the elephant and we will take you around this Kumbh Mela campus. Prabhupada said, no, that is not our process. You get the elephant, but we will put Radha Krishna on that elephant and we will take in procession on this Kumbh Mela. So that is a devotee's consciousness. He is always thinking how to glorify the Lord. And therefore the devotee also becomes godly. Here, for Devaki, this word is used. Devakyam Deva Rupanyam. Devaki almost became like Lord. And her presence in that prison was so divine that demigods came and offered their prayers. Devaki's womb was lighting like sun because Lord was present there. And there is comparison that as if millions of moons have simultaneously arisen on the dark night, that was the glory of Devaki's womb. So generally, when mothers hold babies in their womb, that is called labor pain. But here, it's not pain, it's ecstasy for Devaki. And Mother Nature's, there is further in Purport Prabhupada describes that, as if Mother Nature was also inspiring Devaki. Somebody may feel that why Devaki was suffering so much? Why Mother of Lord has to suffer so much? Yesterday we were discussing how Kansa even tied a big stone on Devaki's womb. And she was bound with all these chains. And there was not even light in that prison cell. There was no question of food. So many, even the birds, they cannot hear the sound of the birds. That was the situation in the cell. So somebody can ask that why Krishna is putting his own mother into this situation. Actually, Lord's pastimes, they are for two purposes. First is to give education, to give lessons, to give teachings. That how it's not so easy to get Krishna in our life. Many times we preach and we so happily tell, chant and be happy. But it's not that easy, because when we start the course of our devotional service, those anarthas in our heart, they make the things difficult. So it's Mother Devaki is teaching us that if you want to have Krishna, ready to pay price for it. Similarly, Vrindavan Vasis. See, Vrindavan was so peaceful until Krishna arrived there. And after Krishna arrived in Vrindavan, there's so many demons. There were no demons in Vrindavan before Krishna arrived. And after Krishna left, again there were no demons. But when Krishna was living in Vrindavan, Brajvasis have to undergo so much. Not only from demons, even from demigods. Indra is trying to do something, Brahma is trying to do something. But for getting Krishna, this price is insignificant. So that Devaki is teaching. Actually, when problems come in the life of normal people, those who are not in devotional service, that is reaction. That is the reaction to their previous activities. When problems and challenges come in the life of sadhakas, the practicing devotees, it is for purification. And when challenges come in the life of siddha devotees, pure devotees, that is for their glorification. Like Srila Prabhupada underwent so many challenges, it glorified Srila Prabhupada even more. Otherwise, Prabhupada would have gone in Emirates flight and first class ticket to America. And then the President of America would welcome Srila Prabhupada. Okay, Swamiji, come and open ISKCON in this country. Then we would not be appreciating Srila Prabhupada this much. But Krishna arranged those challenges in the life of Srila Prabhupada to glorify him further. In the same way here, Devaki is going through all this crisis because Krishna wants to glorify Devaki furthermore. And we see when in India especially, when the ladies are pregnant, they go to their mother's house because they want extra care during that time. So their mother gives them extra care, extra attention, extra love, emotional support, everything. Now here Devaki has not that option. She is in her mother's house but in prison because Kansa has put Devaki in prison. But that nourishment, care and emotional support has been provided by Mother Nature. So that is also one aspect of these auspicious signs by Mother Nature. They are encouraging Devaki that don't worry, your mother is not with you, but Mother Nature is with you. So I am giving you that nourishment and support. So that way, Lord has created this wonderful situation even in the prison. Externally it may look a very, very undesirable situation, but actually it was the most auspicious situation where Lord is going to arrive. So in the subsequent verses we will study how Lord will appear in that cell and how first Nanda Maharaj will take darshan, first Vasudeva will take darshan and Vasudeva will have wonderful prayers in glorification of the Lord. So that goes to show that how auspicious that situation was. In Ishopanishad, Lord is glorified with one term, apapa viddham. He is all purifying. And in one lecture on Ishopanishad, Prabhupada uses the word antiseptic. Because he was having a pharmacy, so he uses this word antiseptic. What an antiseptic does, if you put antiseptic in any place, that place get cleansed, place get purified. In the same way, wherever Lord is present, that place get purified. So here we are seeing that how Lord is present in the womb of Devaki. Externally may not be very purifying situation, but it is all purifying. So we wait for the subsequent days to study further verses in our approach to welcome Krishna on Janmashtami. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any devotee wants to add something? Shri Hari Prabhu, to add something? Please, you can add something on this. Nishingananda Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Comments? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Sri Krishna Janmashtami Mahamotsav ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Devaki Vasudev ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hare.